Hello and welcome. Here we are again, Tuesday noon, and I hand it right over to Marianne because we have such an interesting subject for today.
Thank you, Karina, and hello. And it's a fine evening for me, for you, still
Noon?
a whole day to go
Yeah.
ahead of you. And thank you for giving me the stick that I can start with something. So, we had an interesting conversation yesterday, and it was about communication of the body and communication of the earth, those two together. And it took me in a few conversations within me afterwards also.
Mm.
And I became more aware of it was more questions about
Mhm.
yes, it is. There is so much change in the world.
Yeah.
The earth is a lot of changing. Even the vibration of the earth I sense more, or it is a higher frequency, or whatever that is, not really clear. And is it that our bodies also are going through a massive change together with the change in the world, the change of Earth itself, the change in consciousness? And could it be that we start to communicate different with our body?
Those are great questions. And I mean, first of all, we've already in a past conversation, we talked about the fact that our body and the earth is connected. There
Mm-hmm.
is connection.
Yeah.
And what we haven't really talked about yet is when we perceive something going on in our body, and I shared something yesterday that started that conversation that we had. Stuff going on in my body. And one of the questions that in Access we're asking is, who does this belong to? Because our body picks up things. So it could be truly, fully 100% mine. It could be that my body is picking up something and saying, with another person, there is this, what you are perceiving
Well,
going
yeah.
on, or it could be that the earth is communicating with me, and often because we're so busy and constantly going, that the earth is turning up the volume, and the way the earth can turn up the volume when she's asking for a contribution is that there is intensity in our body that we often perceive as pain. But when we are willing to stop long enough to ask, who does this belong to? Does it belong to the earth? Oh, yeah, the earth is asking for a contribution. And then we just give the energy that we're perceiving to the earth.
Yeah.
And if it is truly the earth asking, then whatever intensity is in our body goes away.
Yeah.
The
True.
moment we respond to the earth, it goes away.
Yeah.
So there is a lot going on right now.
There is really a lot going on. And as we spoke also, I believe yesterday in a conversation about when we, within our changes, stick with the reference points we have also towards our bodies, and we don't change that, that can also turn into some intensity, because are we fighting at that moment? Do we fight between something that isn't existing anymore, but we think still from those reference points.
Yeah.
And the body is telling, what are you doing? Where are you going? I'm not there any longer. And the earth at the same time does say the same thing.
Yeah.
What the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
And it is interesting because you say the contribution to the earth, and it is because contribution is gifting and receiving at the same time.
Yes.
And we contribute the energy. And interestingly is there is no negative energy, there is no positive energy. That are definitions. There is only energy. And this morning I hear myself saying in a conversation with a client, because it was also about contribution and with the earth, because there was a lot of intensity in her body. And during asking questions, it became clear that earth was asking her also to contribute with that intensity. And she said immediately, yeah, but I can't do that because that's negative energy. I can't give that to the earth. That's not kind. So it was directly defining and assuming that I sense it as a negative thing because I define it as a negative thing. So I assume that I'm gifting something negative to the earth. And I asked her, oh, that's interesting because you have lights in your house, electricity. Yes, I have. So when you switch on the thing, do you ask the energy which will give you the light where it's coming from, if it is from the right source, if it is coming from where it comes? Like, do you define
Yeah.
the energy that's coming into your house and then lighting up the lamp and give you light? Do you ask, or do you treat sun light and you are receiving the light? Oh, yeah. So that is no question. There are no questions there because it's receiving whatever it is, the light at that moment through the electricity. What if Earth is like that? You should sun and you contribute the energy that Earth is asking to enlighten whatever there is to enlighten. She wants to enlighten. And then it turned something in her way of looking at it. She got it, that what we so often do is defining things, assuming things, where it can be so easygoing, contributing. And perhaps we can tell something about a simple way to contribute energy to the earth, how we do that, because we have a certain way we do it, or I do it, but I know you do it also with, it's how I do it, Karina, is I'm asking really my body if it would let go, if it would let go, and it's always a yes, let go of those intense energies, and myself, I ask it also to myself. And then it's like, imagine that I take all those energies in my hands, between my hands, and then I throw it towards the earth. It's not into the earth, it's more like a blanket. It can go here, earth. It is. You can have it, and you can have it. And I keep repeating it until I notice more lightness into my body. And it doesn't require a place or a time, as I can do it also during a walk or whatever. How does it work for you? Do you do it also throwing it away, or how do you go with
I
that?
just gather it in my hands and just drop it to
Yeah.
the earth. But maybe the biggest, if you want to call it, difference is I'm not even asking because I know I am letting go of. I know that my body is a messenger, and therefore, once the message is delivered, we'll let go of. So
Yeah.
I'm just going, and yeah, I agree. It doesn't matter where it is and when it is. It's just here you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Whatever you require, and it's not even because I've heard people, yeah, but what if the earth is using it for something that I don't agree with? Excuse me, how much do we have to judge anything and everything? Or could we just trust that the earth is using it for whatever the earth needs to use it in this moment? And that
Wow.
is good because the earth has no negative agenda. The earth is supporting life. And
Yeah.
whatever is required to support life, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
You know,
But
I
isn't
don't
it
want to touch it,
interesting?
even if it technically, theoretically, or whatsoever could mean that I have to die. Okay,
Yeah.
then this is contributing to life, growing, life
Yeah.
moving forward. And, I am keenly aware it is summer, it is getting summer here. I just looked up the temperatures for this week, and they are definitely mid to upper 80s, which is fully summer. I will be driving in July and August in tornado country. Uh, what am I encountering? And I am fine with that because I am willing to listen to the earth. I'm
Mhm.
willing to be aware, and I trust the earth
Yeah.
in that
But
sense.
I found it interesting that you said about that people can questioning what Earth will do with that, as though that Earth will harm or have
But how many
negative
people?
or
How many people believe that Earth is the and nature is the enemy?
wow.
Yes, I fully agree with you. Wow. And if you really listen to, if you read what's in the news, how much is there talk about nature being the enemy?
Oh, from that aspect, and nature is threatening.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it is so easy to put out there because we're so disconnected from the earth. We're so separate.
But even still, for example, when I give you a present, if I'm in question, will you, the present I give, will you treat it well? Will you do with whatever it is because I decided I give it to you from that and that idea? It's insane.
Agreed.
It's insane.
And
Like,
how
do
much
you
are
know that?
you how much are you imposing your ideas, your conclusions, and expectations onto me when you give me And I choose to say, give me. You are not
Okay.
gifting,
Yeah.
because gifting is taking away all of that. If I gift
Yeah.
you something, then the moment it touches your hands, I have no connection to that anymore. It is yours to do with as you please,
Yeah.
as you
So
choose.
true. So true.
But with giving, I give you my expectations
Yeah.
and conclusions, and you better do as I want you to do.
Yeah. And this energy I really can perceive when I received some present from someone, when it was a gifted present, or I give you something with an agenda
Mhm.
underneath it. Yeah.
Yep.
But even then, with those agendas and assumings, a tree, a fruit tree, an apple tree,
Mhm.
when it is growing its apples, it is insane to think that the apple tree with its apple, that apple will think, oh, if I'm going to that person, I want to be treated like that, to be eaten like that, to be washed like that. That's in a way what this person is
Right.
doing. As
Yeah.
here is my gift. In this case, it's not a gift, but you know what I want to say. So here I'm giving this to you, and then you have to do this and this and this with that. It's
It,
nature doesn't work. Nature doesn't operate from assuming, from definition, from
no,
expectations. No.
nature just is contributing to us. Is
And at the same time, Karina, how many expectations do we have of our bodies?
I wouldn't know that. No, I don't have any expectations of my
Exactly.
body. I'm
Exactly.
I'm very keenly aware of that.
And we have expectations, and then we separate us from our bodies, and then we can, yeah, be angry or disillusioned or making it negative, or yeah, wrong, not negative, the wrongness of it.
And also, because you talked about uh, reference points from the past, how much have we bought, for instance, into our Western medical model? And I
Mhm.
need to see a doctor in order to be healed.
Oh, yeah,
Things. And my body has no capacity at all to heal itself. Yet the reality is that everybody is uh, designed to heal itself.
yeah.
It's just the points of view that we have that allow something or do not allow something to take place.
Yeah, as our thoughts creating our reality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And as the story with Dane here, when he got thrown from a horse into a tree, and then one in the party said, oh, you probably broke a few ribs. And he said, my ribs are not broken. And they were not broken
yeah.
because he instantaneously activated the body's healing energy.
Yeah. And it
And
is amazing how fast it
yeah,
heals when you
yeah,
allow it. Yeah,
when you, what exactly, that's the key word, when we allow it,
yeah,
when we invite it.
yeah. And it is the intensities our bodies are is a communication they give us.
Yeah,
And do you know, like when little children, when they want to communicate something, what do they often? They scream until they are heard.
yes. And on the other hand, the question that I have is, why do they even need to scream? Are they screaming because we're so absent in their world that they need to scream in order to, oh, something's going on with them. I need to listen,
Yeah,
you
but
know?
that's what our bodies are doing. We are absent, and the body needs to scream and scream and scream. And isn't it also that we assuming directly to to know what our bodies are communicating? For example, when you wake up and you
Mhm.
are a little stiff in your neck or in your arm or whatever, immediately we are start to say, oh, perhaps the position wasn't that well, or I made a wrong movement or whatever. We
Yeah.
assuming, and not only assuming, do we believe directly and conclude directly what we are assuming, that is the cause of the intensity.
And is it? What if we start
From what
asking,
I
if we start asking our body a question, is so body, what is going on for you?
yeah, but we didn't grow up with
No,
this idea that it is possible.
the body is on some level, sadly enough, nowadays is almost considered a machine, equivalent
True.
of a machine.
Yeah, true
The body
story.
has this capacity, it can be doing this, and if it's not doing that, then I can tweak here or there, or give it a pill, or do surgery, or whatever the thing is,
Yeah,
and then it will function again.
yeah, it is so true. And for me, I can say, Karina, I didn't grow up in communication with my body. I didn't grow up asking questions with my body. Nevertheless, I grew up with parents, brothers and sisters in the family who weren't really into the classic medicines. It was,
Mm.
yeah, when there was really a grip or something more with fevers or whatever, then they called in the doctor. But otherwise, it was really treated in a natural way with a tea or a herb or whatever. So I considered me as a really lucky person there. And also underneath the way they act with their bodies, there was some idea that the body knows what it needed to do. As my dad often said, and he's really an example for me, that your thoughts creating your body.
Hmm.
And he it was a few months ago we had a conversation about that, and I asked him questions, and he said it literally. Yeah, but you can decide, he used the word decide, but you can decide how you go with the things, how you go. If you want to be sick, then you become sick, and then you can become sicker and sicker and sicker. Or you can choose completely the opposite. And my dad is now 94 years. He's still in
Hmm.
quite good shape. The last year he lost a lot of his movement because of the restrictions of the COVID, and
Of
yeah,
COVID,
they
yeah.
couldn't go out. So that's a little bit normal in a way, yeah, when the body likes to be moved also. So when you are always, and I notice it for myself, I
Mhm.
notice it really for myself, how much less strengthness I have in the muscles, because lately, the last year and a half, I sit a lot more behind my computer, and yes, the movement is a lot less. So I notice it also.
Yeah.
And now I can choose. I can say, yeah, and I lost the strength, and it's blah, 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 and it's age, and it's normal, and it's whatever I can put on it. Or I can choose something different and ask my body, okay, body, sorry, I didn't give you the movement perhaps you require because I wasn't listening. I
Mhm.
was assuming that everything was okay, and then asking my body, yeah, well, what movement do you like? And my body likes to go on walks.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it is even a shifting. I don't require anything unless a good pair of shoes, but that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
it's interesting. You talking about this made me go back in my own life. I remember moments when I felt I was coming down with the flu and having some fever. And I went to bed early and I said, okay, fever increase, body increase the temperature, and then the fever will break around midnight and I will wake up totally fine and
Yeah,
refreshed.
yeah,
That's what happened.
yeah,
And so it's something that I have done even without knowing what I've learned today from Access. It was just naturally, I didn't even question my body's ability to heal itself.
yeah,
And my dad was a physician and he was totally into the Western medical model,
yeah,
you know, and I just did what I needed to do, and I there was never anything going on for me. And even now, when because I'm putting everything in storage with where I'm going, and there are days when oh God, I'm so old, I can't don't have the strength anymore as I used to when I moved before, and then there are days when I just okay, let's get going, let's do this and be done with it, and those 2 days are night and day.
yeah. But this, Karina, I notice it for myself, is a lot up, a lot more up in my world also.
Mhm.
And is that when I'm asking there also, how is it with Earth? Because of those big shifts the Earth also makes, and there are peaks high up and then peaks down low. What if we can move with nature and allow to be with nature? And you mentioned with the flu as asking to turn up the heat and then it will pass by. I can remember, and it was long before Access and knowing how it really works. It was on the opposite. I was in a marriage where I was really throwing out, drying out, drawing out, depressive, knowing that the relationship wasn't really working.
Mhm.
And I had a job, a physic, quite intense job. And I projected at that time the difficulties I had in the
Mm.
relationship. I projected on my job, and I thought, oh, I only require to be more at home because I had really unregular
Mhm.
hours, and I had nights and weekends and mornings, and I worked with the mental diseases, persons with a mental disease. And I thought, yeah, my husband, I thought he was a little child. I had three little children at that time. So it was like, I am only surrounded with children. If it's not my own children, it's my husband. And then
Mhm.
the people I work with, yeah, they were adults, but functioning from a lower mental capacity. So I projected or twisted my personal things into my job. And I can remember that I went to sleep and I was really thinking, oh, if I had something in my bag and I couldn't get up any longer, I don't have to go to work. because that was at that time the idea of the solution for me.
Yeah.
Then it will work. I have a long time. I can stay home. So then everything will turn out well. And in the morning, my body gave me exactly
What you were
what I
asking.
asked. And really, really, I couldn't get up. It were my little children. I called them in, and with three of them, they pulled me out of my bed, and I shuffled, really shuffling, up till the doctor that morning, because I required a receipt that I was sick and whatever. And I can even remember, Karina, I came out of the office of the consultant with the doctor, and I had my paper that rectified my absence on my work. And I noticed that within 10 minutes, I start to walk normal.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, fuck. I created that because I asked for that. Give me a back pain or a back problem, so I can't get out of my bed. I don't have to work. I had my paper. I believe it was 14 days or whatever it was, but it was a good amount of days. I didn't require to go to my job, but it was gone then, and I was at home. So I got what I asked. So our bodies are that quick, even when we aren't conscious.
Yeah.
Still, the body gives us. So in that way, how would it be that we ask really, body, what are you communicating?
Yep. Buddy, what is going on for you?
And what am I creating with my body? What are my thoughts? What
Yeah.
am I projecting also?
Yeah. Or are you communicating somebody else, or something else, meaning the earth?
Yeah,
So to really be present with the body, and to do that. And I listened to some access conversations, and ask myself, is this so body, even though I made it real for a year, is there a way to undo that and to go beyond it? It's not that I have got a clue from a cognitive perspective, but there isn't a level of awareness on an energetic, uh, in an energetic way, that yes, there is. And I cannot say more because, as I said, it's not cognitive. And
yeah,
but we can, when we decide something could change, when we, or not decide, when we are in allowance for change or of change, then that change can actually take place.
you know what's coming up, Karina? Something interesting is, could it be that even we say we care for Earth, is it really true when we not really taking care of our bodies? Are we there incongruent with what we are thinking? Or are we really caring? Because our, our bodies exist from the elements, the earth
Yeah.
also exists. And we are in communion, and we can choose living, embodying really in communion with everything. So how much more ease can we also have with caring for the earth when we start care more for our bodies.
And are we willing to become aware of what is going on?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Are we willing to become aware how the earth or the soil is destroyed, and that the result of that, the food is starting to destroy our bodies?
Yeah.
And are we willing to learn about that? And are we willing to go? As during this pandemic, I have done a lot of learning, and especially in that regard, what is going on with the earth, what is going on with the food supply, what is going on, you got it. And I have begun making choices that a few years ago I thought, who cares?
Mm. Yeah.
It has changed for me learning about it.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and the thing is I am aware of it, and I, it sounds funny for me right now, and I'm not making it significant.
Mm.
As if I don't do it, then it's going to be majorly damage for both the earth and me.
Yeah.
And I hear on the other side how much people, because they are aware of similar or same things, I don't know exactly, but for them, it is extremely significant. And I can hear the suffering that they go through because of the sense of not being empowered enough to create change. And
That.
I know I can create change by contributing to the earth. I don't necessarily need to change how a farmer is planting and what the farmer is doing, but I can contribute to the earth.
Yeah. And what is not making it significant, that has for me an energy as then it allows to generate, then it allows to flow. When I make it significant, again, there is some structure, there is some limitation, there is some definition also. Yeah. Hmm. For me, what I experience is that there is a complete new energy of communion, of oneness available with our bodies. And that it is also now the time to choose different and to let go of what we decided a body is, how it has to be, what the functions are, because isn't it the true magical function of our bodies is way beyond of what we assume our bodies does. Yeah.
And recently there's been in conversations often, what if biblical ages are actually real?
Yeah.
If somebody gets to be 600, 800 years old, what if that is actually possible? And technically, physiologically, our body is able to live that long because it continuously renews itself. So if we do not think about, when I'm 100, I'm going to die.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing because in science they speak about this renovation and this generating of our bodies, and at the same time they cut off everything of what's in there because they're saying no, when you become that age, everything is turning down, but
Yeah.
still all the cells are renewing. So it's so contradictory.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
They don't catch their own contradiction.
No,
But
no,
are they not catching their own contradiction because they are basing science is looking forward. The rest is based on old reference points. And so when you get that age, then this is what's going to happen. Those are all the old reference points that we have that we then make real because of this is how things are, and your belief system creates your reality.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that science knows different.
Yeah.
It's sort of like we haven't caught, in how many departments or areas of life have we not yet caught up with the difference?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
The contradiction.
It is.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Thank you.
A lot of good food for thought for people. And, ask your body and stay aware. Even though I've been talking to some extent seemingly against Western medical model, the Western medical model has its usefulness.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
It's not that the body says, oh no, I don't want to see a physician, I don't want to deal with that. But what if we start asking the body, do you want to see a physician? Can you take care of it by yourself? Or what help do you need? What support do you need in order to change that? So things are not black and white. There is
Absolutely
a whole
not.
host of shades of gray in between.
And even this, Karina, isn't it communicating with your body, even asking your body if it requires, and when it requires, even then you can ask, show me what physician is required for you. Because, we know that a physician is a physician, but every physician is a different one. And
it's
we
personal.
can so much.
It's
and we can so much more actualize if we are willing to include our bodies as willing to include the earth.
So let's see what we're going to talk about next week.
Definitely there will come up some subject.
I am curious to see where we go, what's happening during this week, and then what else is possible.
What else is possible?
Yeah.
Always something is possible, always.
Yes. So
thank you for this conversation, Karina.
Thank you, Marianne. I thoroughly enjoy having these conversations, and I hope they are a contribution to the listeners too.
Yes.
So, everybody,
bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.